is Steve Dunn. I'm the Chief Exec of West Suffolk Hospital. We've just gone live with a new electronic patient record system. We call it eCare. It's been fantastic. Our staff have been amazing. What's really important though when you go live with one of these big new IT systems is that the staff feel supported. We've invested in these workstations on wheels.
The Trust made the decision to move away from a best-of-breed approach which we had previously. So we had a PAS, an order system, etc., that were all best-of-breed, and we brought those together with eCare, which is one system that will share all the information between all the other systems. So we have issues with people going to ED when ED had a separate system and not filling the system in. Now that the system's integrated, we can see that and we can share that information between all the different wards and departments. So
the challenge we faced was we had an existing fleet of computers on wheels. The batteries were failing, the nurses were unhappy, they were heavy to pull, and they were not happy using them because they were not easy to use. We chose the Parity Infinity carts with the Onyx Venus units mounted on them because they had a wide screen which the customers liked to use because it was easy to see. They're clinical grade so we could clean them easily. They were ergonomic so we could easily adjust the height for the smaller people, the taller people in the hospital. And also they had swappable batteries so they could run 24/7 with minimal downtime.
So the Trust decided to go with Parity and this particular model because it was much easier to use Cerner Millennium on, because Cerner Millennium is quite a complex screen, quite a busy screen with the functionality. Originally the users thought that they wanted iPads and iPods, but we realised very quickly that we needed the large screen with the mouse and the keyboard, and they loved them on the wards, so it's been really good.
The feedback we've received from the nurses to date is the carts are easy to use, they like them because they're height adjustable and they can use them 24/7, so we no longer have to leave them by the bay windows charging because they can just pop to the cart, swap the battery and away they go again. So there's no disruption, no arguments, they can just use them 24/7.
Yeah, the new system is going down really well. Staff are using it very well now and confidently. They're really engaging with the patients, which is our main criteria really, so that the WOWs are able to come next to the bedside and staff are able to show the patient what they're doing and why, and they're able to take their blood pressures and show them the results and put them on there directly rather than going back and forth to the bedside, which is very important. Staff and patients seem to have adapted very well to them. They're easy to move, which is great in and out of a busy ward, and easy to clean, which is great from an infection control point of view. The height differs as well for different staff, so all round I think they've gone down really well.
So we are going to complete the complex medication that we haven't done as part of phase 1 and the complex clinical documentation that we're going to have within the system. So that should take us another year, and we're also going to put in the rest of order comms. So we've got a fairly complex order comms project linking in with other providers. So that'll be done over the next 12 months and we should be starting next month.
So the Venus Infinity carts have been essential for the success of this project so far. It's allowed the nursing staff to continue to deliver care at the patient bedside, but as well to make sure that we can record that care at the same time.
The challenges we faced were we had limited storage to store the equipment as it was being delivered. We had nurses that wanted the equipment quickly because the existing equipment was failing, and we had the issue where we had limited space in IT. So when we worked on the equipment to prepare it and image it to send it out to the ward, but luckily Parity offered a solution where they pre-imaged the equipment first, so when it got delivered we could have a quick turnaround onto the ward. With the deliveries we've done it in a phased approach, so every fortnight we had a delivery of the carts. They were already imaged with our Windows image, so when they arrived we wheeled them off, wrote asset marked them, they went onto the wards. That way we had very little storage in the IT department, less clutter. It was a much quicker process for the customers.
I can say Neil was really good in that because he has been, he's a happy face to see walking in the office. He's one of those guys that just does whatever we ask him to, and he seems to be very reasonable. I think the delivery of the devices, as we spoke about earlier, being broken up over the period of the project really helped because we're a small trust So we didn't have anywhere to store them or keep them. Even if we would have wanted them all at once, we couldn't have taken them all at once. So that was really, really helpful. And having them imaged so they arrived at the box and we could just plug them straight in, that was really, really helpful for the project.
The ongoing support of Parity, any problems we've had, they've responded very quickly. They've sent parts out to site, which has meant we can fix the equipment very quickly, ensuring that the carts stay out in use on the wards. We use a piece of software called Onyx Orion that is a client piece of software that sits on the WOW unit, and this enables us to manage them and have visibility of the batteries, the Wi-Fi, the CPU and the location, so we can manage every day. We can see what problems there are, so we can respond very quickly before they get a chance to log the call. And sometimes they're surprised that we are ahead of the game. We had an issue with the McAfee encryption on the Onyx units, and we worked closely with Parity and Onyx to resolve the problem. We sent off the information of the problem that was occurring, sent them some error logs, and we worked with them on a new version of a BIOS which we have now installed and has resolved the problem. They are now encrypted and we're compliant. Feedback from our own team is they're easier to manage, they're more reliable, no downtime, and the staff like using them. In result of that, we have less calls, less hassle and disruption to the service desk.
So the Orion software dramatically saves time for the technicians on having to triage issues with the WOWs. Because of the functionality of the battery monitoring system, we can see precisely what WOWs have disconnected, whether there are problems with batteries, and whether there's an issue with specific wards in training on how to use the WOWs properly.
Okay, so there are three main points that I focus on. It's the connection status, the capacity status, and the CPU usage status. If a connection is disconnected, we know that a WOW's not on the network properly, which means we can call up the ward to find out whether there's an issue with the WOW network-wise. Capacity will show us the battery, how charged the batteries are. If they're low, then that means we need to either get them swapped over, which the ward have been trained to do, or there could be a problem with the power supply on the device. And CPU usage is on how much processing the computer's doing, and that front, if it's a high number, then we know that the WOW's being pushed to its absolute limit and we can triage that further.
With the Orion software that we've got and giving us visibility of the whole of our mobile computer estate, saves me at least 2 hours a day compared to our old equipment.
The key features is you can, down to the patient level, you can sit next to the patient, yeah, you can, it's good for your, ergonomically it's good. The access to information is there, is readily available. Because of that, then you're available more readily to the patient. Yes. Yeah, so you're there. It is about keeping the nurse in the bay. Once we feel confident to involve them more, to show them what's recorded or say, would you like to have a look, and that type of stuff, because that's the advantage you get of a big screen. So the advantage of the workstations is the big screen, is the amount of how much information you can see, whereas a lot of the using the small handheld devices, yeah, you can see so little. Yeah, you can see more information in one go. Yeah.
We like Venus Infinity card because it's easy to move around in the ward environment. The screen is wide, as you could see, and it's really useful for us to see patient information on eCare quite clearly. The one thing I really like about it is the swappable battery, so we never run out of power when we are working in a clinical environment, which is an excellent bonus point. It's actually helping us to achieve our digital roadmap for 2020.
We are really happy with it, seriously. We are more than happy with the way that they've been performing. I've not had a single complaint anywhere about the workstations on wheels.
We've invested in these workstations on wheels. Our staff love it. They fight over them. They literally do on the wards, and we want more of them. They're fantastic. Thank you.